Hello, I'm Jane Butel, the Queen of Southwest Cooking, and I'd love to show you this pear breakfast cake. It's really yummy with a balloon launch brunch that has that features, the blue crepes with the green chili scrambled eggs and the blue cheese sauce. And of course it has those sunrise sippers we haven't talked about earlier, but those are fabulous with this dessert. It's kind of got a lot of steps to it, but the steps are not difficult. First of all, it's kind of like making your usual pancake batter or muffins or something like that. We have started here with the flour and the sugar and cinnamon, baking powder and salt, and now I'm adding sweet butter, unsalted sweet butter, and I've just cut it in half-inch cubes so that it will speed up the mixing process. So we're just going to mix the butter in. Mix it until it's well mixed, that's all. And then we're going to add these liquid ingredients, which are 3 eggs and milk and 2 teaspoons of Mexican vanilla. It makes it really yummy. So we'll put this in and just mix it enough to moisten the dry ingredients. And you're going to want to push it down from the sides, because every mixer, no matter how fine or how simple, has a blind spot right underneath the beater blades. So we'll just here, get this, and we'll just give it one more twirl. And I believe that's mixed enough. And I'm going to place it in this. You want to use a cake pan that's at least 1.5 inches to 2 inches deep, and it's already been generously buttered. I always say butter it generously, like flan or anything like that, because it might take you a little more time to butter it. You want to use cold, solid butter. And I like to save the butter wrappers, and I just use that because if the cold butter will stay on a lot better than will the melted, and those spray-on non-stick shortenings, I don't think they work at all, because what happens is as soon as the batter hits that oil sprayed surface, the oil kind of separates, and then you got a really stuck pan. So we're just going to add this to the prepared pan, which is only buttered, and I'm just going to add it all at once. We used to call these rubber scrapers child cheaters, because before rubber scrapers there was more dough or batter left in the bowl. So we'll just get as much as we can, and then you just want to smooth it to the edges. Try to get it very uniformly smoothed out, because we're going to place another layer on top of this, and this is the second layer. I'm just going to pull that off. And now we're going to add this. It's a sour cream with a little flour and a little sugar. It's kind of like those cheese danishes that are so yummy that you remember how you sometimes get those and think, ooh, it's a lot of calories, but oh, is it good. So we're just going to put this thin layer. Just try your best to get it spread around, because this has those fresh, wonderful pears baked on top of this yummy, cheesy tasting filling. And this, by the way, freezes beautifully. You can make it up to 3 months ahead of time, or at least a few days or weeks. It'll stay in the refrigerator. It's so nice and moist. So it's a little bit of trouble to make if you're going to try to make it early in the morning. So what I would recommend is that you make it a day or so ahead of time. Now, these are pears, and I'm happy to report these are pears we picked last week from my pear tree. And maybe in case you don't know that, these are the Dijonjo pears. And as soon as you pick pears, if you place them in newspaper or tissue paper and let them ripen, they will have a nicer, more mellow, juicy quality than if you don't put them in the paper. And of course, putting them in the paper actually does 2 things, in that it keeps the if one pear should get a bad spot, it won't spread to all the rest of the pears, and that's another reason for doing that. So I'm just going to place this. It's sort of like a tart tatin kind of idea. We're just going to, and of course my French doesn't exist. These are the fresh pears, and the way we prepared the pears was, and this is a real easy way to do it, you just squish down on them, you just wash them and squish down on them, and then peel the little sections. It works a lot faster than if you try to peel the whole thing, and actually then it doesn't get torn up as you're, and these pears are so nice and big, I don't think it's all going to fit. So just put as many as will comfortably fit on top of the batter. And I want to pass this word along. This is the product called Fruit Fresh. There's others. They're classified as an ascorbic citric acid mixture. And what's really good about them is they prevent darkening if you were to prepare those ahead of time. So now this is ready for baking, and it bakes the first 20 minutes covered with foil. So you're going to cover it with foil, bake it 20 minutes, take the foil off, and then when you take the foil off, you will sprinkle just a little sugar and cinnamon on top and bake it another 30 minutes. And here you are, the magic of television. We have one that's already prepared, that was baked, and it'll vary how long you bake it according to how moist the pears are. These are just picked pears, so they're quite juicy. And I found it took an extra 5 minutes. So if you want to, you can serve it right from this baking pan, or if you'd prefer, it's kind of fun to do this. Have you ever done this? You just take and sift some powdered sugar just directly over the top. And you want to get a generous amount so that you'll get the pattern of this paper doily. So you just kind of have to keep going and going and going and going and going and going. And you might even want, if you're doing this as I suggest as a balloon launch brunch, you might want to actually do this on site. Add the powdered sugar after you get there, and I got in too much of a hurry here, but I think you get the picture. And hopefully we've got quite a bit there. And I got too much. Oh well, better luck next time. I got in too big of a hurry, but oh, this is really good, and it's so fabulous when it's warm and juicy, and the cinnamon and cheese work together with that nice taste of pear. This is really good any time of year. I'm sure you'll really enjoy this recipe, and you could substitute other fruits if you prefer. You could do things like apples or things of that sort, or even peach. So it's been my pleasure to bring this to you today. I am Jane Butel, the Queen of Southwestern Cooking.